Hey viewers, Purple Celery here. Happy Monday, happy November, happy Guy Fawkes Day, happy NaNoWriMo if you're having a crack at that, happy Melbourne Cup for tomorrow if you're in Australia. Today I'm going to be reviewing episode 5 of series 11 of Doctor Who, the Tsuranga Conundrum. So the Tsuranga Conundrum sees the Doctor step on a sonic mine, thus causing her and the TARDIS team to wind up on a massive hospital spaceship. This episode I thought was a bit like House crossed with Doctor Who, with a bit of Stranger Things type music thrown in at the end. The conundrum part of the title comes from the fact that on this spaceship is this creepy but cute little monster who devours its way through anything, and the Doctor and the TARDIS team and the other people on the ship have to figure out how to stop it. I thought this was actually the best part about the episode. I thought the whole concept of this cute, scary little monster who was virtually unstoppable was really good. So kudos to the writers and Chris Chibnall for coming up with him. I also thought that the pacing in this episode was really good, and unlike last week's episode, Arachnids in the UK, I thought they got the balance of humour and action and creepiness just right. In particular, I liked the pregnant man. I thought that he was really good. He added a bit of comic relief. There were, however, a few things that I didn't particularly like about this episode. The first one is basically weak storytelling. So there were two main plots in the Tsuranga Conundrum. There was the main plot with the Doctor and the others trying to stop the little baby monster. And the second subplot was about the pilot general with the heart condition and her brother who was trying to access her medical records. But I thought it was way too much of a coincidence that on this hospital spaceship the only other patients besides pregnant man were this like ace pilot and her genius engineer brother. It just seemed way too much of a coincidence that probably the only two people in the universe who could have steered the ship back to the medical base just happened to be on the ship. So yeah, I just thought that was way too much of a contrived coincidence. There was also the poem about hope that they did at the end, the poem or the prayer. I'm not sure exactly what it was. I get that hope seemed to be like one of the central themes to this episode. I just thought that at the end they kind of piled it on with quite a heavy hand. I thought it was a bit too mawkish. I personally could have done without it. In terms of character development, I felt in this episode that Yaz in particular didn't really have much to do. It's almost like she just kind of stood around. I guess she did like a little bit towards the end, helping the Doctor bait the little baby monster thing. Graham had a little bit more to do. Ryan, I guess, was okay in talking about his dad. It also looks like he's sort of accepting Graham a little bit more now, so there was that character development with Ryan. But yeah, I just felt overall that Yaz and Graham didn't really seem to have a lot to do in this one. There were a couple of things that also made me a bit uncomfortable with this episode. The first one was to do with the brother of the pilot general, I can't recall her name, who was trying to access her medical records. That's like a massive breach of privacy, even if it is your sister. And I just felt that whole thing was like swept under the rug, like, you know, this guy was just portrayed as like a, you know, normal, caring brother. And yes, I'm sure he was, but it was still like a massive breach of ethics for him to try and access someone else's private medical records. The other thing, and this is sort of like on a similar note that made me a bit uneasy, was the other Doctor, and like again I can't recall his name, Asto or something, who basically tried to order the Doctor to get some rest, and there was like a bit of a power struggle going on between him and the Doctor in the early stages of the episode. I was a little bit uneasy at how quickly the Doctor caved and I guess fell over herself to apologise, and that sort of bugged me a bit because I just can't imagine any of the previous Doctors being so apologetic like that. For example, I can imagine Capaldi agreeing with the doctor but not apologising. Like I can picture him saying, "All right, but as soon as we get to the base, I want my TARDIS back," or something like that. And it makes me uneasy that they've written Jodie's doctor as apologising so quickly and caving to somebody else's authority, because it kind of reinforces old general stereotypes about women not being fit to make good decisions, about women being too emotional, about women being the ones who keep the peace, who smooth these things over. I'm not sure whether this was like a conscious decision by the writers. It could be that it wasn't, and I'm absolutely willing to believe that. But yeah, it just sort of makes me uneasy that the one doctor who's the quickest to apologise also happens to be the only woman doctor so far. Am I overthinking this? It's possible that I am, but I'd love to know your thoughts and comments as always. So I'm sure that I've made it sound in this video that I've been very critical of the Tsuranga Conundrum, but having said that, I actually did enjoy the episode. Like, I thought it was fun to watch. It was gripping. As I said, I love the little monster baby thing. I love pregnant man. So I would give this episode 7 out of 10. But I would love to hear what you thought of the episode, so please leave your comments below. If you enjoyed watching this video, please give me a like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see everybody next week to review episode 6. And until then, this is Purple Celery, over and out.